Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chess Wise. Today we are going to look at the next topic, that is the Queen's Gambit declined. Earlier we have discussed a little bit about what is Queen's Gambit. Today we are going to see when the gambit is not taken or not accepted, then it is called declined. So d4, d5. With the move c4, white sacrifices the pawn. In the last Queen's Gambit lecture we discussed why taking the pawn and trying to hold the pawn is bad. Taking itself is not bad, but trying to hold the pawn is bad. So today we are going to discuss the basics of Queen's Gambit decline, what are the options for black, and look at a little variation which we are going to learn in upcoming lessons. So I am going to do a detailed lecture on that, but today's one is an introductory and basic one. So after the move d5, black has various ways to protect the pawn. White wants to take cd, qd5 and c3, then attack the queen. So black can firstly play e6. This is one of the main and basic moves in the position. Black supports the pawn with a pawn, and if white takes, then black will recapture with the pawn. So the center is controlled with the pawn. Same idea can be used with the move c6. This is also Queen's Gambit declined only. This variation is called Slav defense. So black supports the pawn with the pawn and he wants to develop the bishop out first. Like in e4, c6 Tarokhan defense, black's idea is to develop that bishop first. Here also in many lines of Slav, the bishop on c8 wants to come out first. Position remains little passive but very solid. Apart from this, the only other reasonable moves are nc6, which is called the Chigorin defense. It's not very popular at the higher level. And there is one gambit called with the move e5, called the Albin counter gambit. So this is again very popular move, but not played much at the very high level. The move nf6 here happens to be a mistake. Okay, because nf6, then cd, then nd5. It's called the Marshall variation. I'll be doing a game on that later on. So let's look at the main move. Today's our main coverage will be on the move e6. So I am going to show an interesting line for black, and then we will see how to develop the pieces, what are the basic ideas of the opening, and it's a little trappy line. Let's get started. This is called the normal Queen's Gambit declined orthodox variations term. We'll see there are some variations inside it with different names. Now after the move nc3 here, the line which I am suggesting is the normal nf6. Although I like the move c5 a lot, I myself have played the c5 move a lot, and many of my students have also played c5. It is also very easy to understand and learn. I will be doing a detailed lecture on that as well. This is called the Tarrasch defense of Queen's Gambit. The move we are going to cover today is the move nf6. Black develops the knight, protects the pawn, brings control on e4 and stops the move e4 by white. So with knight c3, white was controlling the e4 square. White similarly wants to again gain control of the e4 square and develop with an attack. So white does the move bishop g5. See, the development has here started on the queen side. So white is developing the queen side first. Okay, and he is threatening on d5 right now. So the threat is to take cd, ed. Okay, because the knight is pinned, and now bishop into f6. So after bishop into f6, what happens? If queen takes f6, then knight into d5. Pawn goes for free. And after gf, as we have discussed several times, there is no knight on f6. So after the move e3, the queen will quickly land on h5 and put pressure on d5. Knight will come to f3, bd3, and white's position will be very good over there. Black will have problems castling on either side of the board. Here the g file is open, and castling here would allow white's rook from c1 to attack on the king side very easily. Black has to deal with this threat now. There are three moves which are possible to deal with the threat. One is bishop e7. Simply black removes the pin and develops the bishop. But this bishop move instantly is committal. We are showing that we want to play the bishop here. Black can also play the move c6, okay, which will support the d5 pawn. And the line which I am recommending here is the move nd7. black knight supports the fellow knight, and after the exchange now, his other knight will come and support the pawn on d5. So it's like this bishop got traded for this knight, and this knight remains as it is. White will not take it. Now it looks like as if the d5 pawn is going for free. There are two attacks, pawn and knight, and there are two supports, but this knight is pinned by the bishop. But here there is a trap. White cannot take the pawn. So this trap is a very old and a very famous trap. It's called the elephant trap. So after cd5, ed5, and now if bishop f6, then knight f6, pawn gets supported. So knight into d5. It looks as if the pawn is just lost, but because of this diagonal weakness now, black simply takes knight into knight, allowing bishop into queen. But as I have told you always, we should calculate till the third ply from where we start. So knight d5, bd8, and now black calculated the move bb4 check, and noticing that white has only way to stop the check is by interposing the queen, and after takes, king takes d8. So black has gained a full piece over here, because when we gave up the queen, we have taken up this bishop. Here we have taken the knight for free. So both have lost bishop and queen for this bishop and queen, and this knight which went for free actually. Okay, so this is the trap. Let's see what is the best way for white to continue. Let's have a look at the position from here again. White had played bishop g5, black played knight d7, ignoring the threat on d5 and setting a small trap. But white has a very simple way here. White simply develops by nf3 and stops this threat. What is the point? Very simple. After cd5, ed5, knight d5, bd8, and we play bb4 check, the knight interposes to d2. So this is one way. Black queen is taken and white is able to interpose his knight, so queen is not lost. So this is a way to create that threat. Same way, another move e3 also creates that threat. Now what happens? After cd, ed, knight d5, bishop d8, bb4 check, king can just move to e2. Well, castling is broken, but if we see there, white is queen up, and the activity of black pieces is almost negligible, just the bishop is active. So for broken castle position, nothing has happened. Another move e3 or nf3, whichever is played, black needs to protect the pawn on d5. So black plays the move c6, bringing support to the d5 pawn and opening the diagonal for the queen. So after the move nf3 here, do note that this position can come with this move order also, nf3 first, then c6 and then e3. And the move which I am going to recommend here is the move queen a5. Firstly, it is a very trappy move and it was played at a very higher level. It was played in the Kasparov-Karpov match also. So black has some very interesting ideas, and there are only few moves which are good for white over here. So let us discuss what is the idea here, what is the threat. So by queen a5, black has pinned this knight on c3 and he wants to use the relation on this rank. So black has a simple threat of going knight e4, using a double attack on c3 and g5, and he wants to bring bb4 and put maximum pressure on the c3 knight. So here white has to be very careful. In this position, white has only 3 correct moves. Okay, and apart from those 3 moves, all moves are blunders. So the 3 correct moves here are cd5, bishop f6, and there is a very strange move, knight coming to d2, trying to unpin the knight and stopping knight e4. This knight d2 happens to be the main line. First, let me show you the first and foremost basic move, which is a blunder. So firstly, we will see the move bd3. bd3 is outright mistake, because after bd3, black goes d into c4, first opening this attack on the bishop. c4 pawn attacks the d3 bishop, so bishop c4 forced, and after bishop c4 comes the move knight e4. Now what happens if white protects the knight by queen c2? Many people play this, but then knight g5, and see the queen takes g5. So many people fall for this trap. Okay, so the most obvious move bd3 is a blunder. So this is all about the basics of this position. We are going to discuss all the other possible moves in the next part. There is queen c2, there is rook c1, there is a3. These all moves are played time to time. We will discuss cd also, and we will have to dedicate a special part to the moves bf6 and maybe nd2. nd2 happens to be the main line. I will make a separate part on that. Okay, so this will cover the basics of Queen's Gambit, and we will be able to play this line when we face the first move d4 or when we face the first move nf3 also. To both of them we can get the same position. I will be covering how to get into the same position also. I hope you are enjoying these lessons. Do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thanks for your time.